Hey guys, so today's jazz theory tutorial video is on the introduction to jazz scales. So basically what's happening here, guys, is we've already covered harmony. We've already learned, basically every kind of chord that we can come across and what they sound like and how to construct them and how to identify them and how to play them and things like that. So the next step is to learn the scales that those chords are comprised from, and using scales to improvise in jazz music and other forms of music, and using scales to compose music in genres. So that's what this video is about today. So the first thing you guys want to check out is this page here. And there's a few things I've written down already that I need to get rid of really quick. But basically, these top three scales at the top of the paper, this major, this dominant seventh, and this Dorian scale, are the three basic scales used in jazz improvisation. Now, if we look up here, there's some words I've written down to kind of clarify some things to make the rest of this unit a little bit easier. So, first thing is our major scale, guys, our total like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do thing is actually has another name. That other name is called Ionian. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. It's Ionian. So if you see the word Ionian written anywhere, or asking the Ionian scale, that's actually just the same thing as the major scale. Okay, for your dominant seventh scale, we don't really call it that. We call that Mixolydian. And just like our dominant seventh chords, guys, that were 1, 3, 5, flat 7, our scales are actually the same thing. It's the same as a major scale, so it's got 1, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but our seventh is now flat. Okay, so that means that it's a little bit lower, and that gives us that dominant sound. But we'll never say something like play the dominant scale or solo using the dominant scale. We would say use the Mixolydian scale. So that's the name of that. And finally, for our last one here, we have the word Dorian written in parentheses around the word minor. And the reason we're doing that is because a minor in music, guys, basically means like a sad kind of sound, right? But when we're talking about a minor scale, that unfortunately is not specific enough, because the word minor is like very ambiguous. It means a lot of different things. For example, in your Theory 2 class, you guys probably learned about the three minor scales, at least you did if you took it with me, which would be the natural minor scale, and then you would also have the harmonic minor scale, and then you'd also have the melodic. Okay, this is when you say minor, it's just not specific enough. It doesn't tell the person you're talking to enough information. So with this example down here, they put Dorian because Dorian is another kind of a minor scale. And basically what that is that's going to be a major scale with a lowered third and a lowered seventh. Okay? So to review this before going on, because this is actually all we need to know for this worksheet, your major scale is just going to be your regular, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do scale, 1 through 8, nothing changed. Okay? If you want to make your scale have a dominant sound and turn into a Mixolydian scale, then all you do is you spell a major scale and then you lower the seventh, okay? If you want to create a Dorian sounding scale, which has that, that minor sound, but in like a jazz kind of way, you're still going to spell a major scale, but you're going to lower the third and the seventh, okay? So it's honestly, guys, it's the same exact process we used when learning how to spell chords. They're asking you for a specific quality and a specific key. Okay, so it could be like A flat Mixolydian. Okay, if that was the question. So there's my key, there's my quality. Okay, you go on the staff, you pretty much put on all your little placeholder notes: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, right? And then you go in and you put in the key signature to make a major scale, which in this case would be 4 flats. So we have B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. I did this really terribly. Did this extremely terribly. Okay, whatever, you get the idea. And then, you figure out that Mixolydian, the only thing left you have to do is to flat the 7. So you go through, you put the flat there, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right there, and then it's good to go. Okay? So that was kind of the fast version of explaining that, but I'm showing you this to show you that it's just not that hard to do in general, okay? So we're going to clear this page and move on. So the first part of your worksheet, guys, is you have to fill in these blanks. And basically there's a bunch of different scales here. These first three scales are all at the top of the first page. So top of the first page. Okay, and then these next ones down here are a little bit lower on the page, but they're still there, still on the first page. I'll just go back and show you really quick. They're right here, actually. Everything right here. We don't need to know this John Coltrane one, even though it is really, really awesome. Okay. The only two that are not on this page, guys, are the harmonic and the melodic minor. Let me just double check. Yeah, I don't see them here. And that's okay, because I usually just write in the answers for that anyway. And so we'll come down there in a second. Anyway, guys, all you're doing for this page is you're basically, in each of these boxes, you're writing a different thing. So the first box, you're going to write the formula for the chord, okay? So that in that case, that would be, you know, whatever this number system is here. So we're doing major scale is going to be 1 through 8 with nothing changing. So that's my formula for major. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And don't forget, guys, you can always pause the video at any time to finish copying what I'm writing so that you can keep going, okay? In this next box, guys, for the sentence, what I want, this is basically just like a way that you can kind of describe what's happening in the formula so that you can remember it really well. So if I were going to write a sentence for this, I would just write basic major scale, because nothing's actually changing here. So I would just write that. It's kind of not really the best answer, but you don't really need a good answer for this because you're not really going to forget what this is. So I guess in front of these I would write something like follow the major key signature. Okay, that would give me all the right answers. Now, for applicable chords, guys, this is something we're going to do in class. So if you can't figure these out on your own, that's okay. Just make sure you're paying attention in class and write them down. The applicable chords, guys, is basically like, when can you use this scale? Like what chord could you see, you know, on a piece of music that would let you know, oh, I can use this scale here. So I'm just going to copy these down really quick. You would play it over a C chord, like just like a regular triad. Okay, you could play it over C major 7. That's also written as C MAJ 7, but I'm just going to use the triangle because the triangle is a fancier way of writing that. Okay, you could use it over C major 9. You could use it over C major 13. You could also use it over C6, and you could use it over C6 9, and you could use it over like C add 2 or 4, either one. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so basically, guys, you just want to know this really well so that like if you're looking at a piece of music and you need to write a melody over that chord, or if you need to solo over that chord, you know, if one of your chords is a major 7 or a major 9 or add 2 or 6/9 or anything like that, then that lets you know you can use the major scale, okay? Let's do the same thing for the Dorian scale, okay? So again, my formula is going to be on this page, and that's going to look like this one right here. So I'm really just going to copy that down. Okay, so everything's normal, but there's a flat 3 and a flat 7, so I'm going to do that really quick. 1, 2, flat 3. I'm going to kind of circle that so I see it later. Flat 7, circle that as well, and 8. Okay, so my sentence to describe what's going on here could just be, it's just a major scale with a flatted 3rd and flatted 7th. That's a great answer. So we'll say major, that looks terrible, sorry, with flat 3rd and 7th, okay? So basically, if someone was like, hey, I need you to spell out like a B-flat Dorian scale, all you would do is spell out your B-flat major scale by using your key signature, you know, so write B-flat up to B-flat, put in your flats from your key signature, which would be B-flat, E-flat, and then go through and then flat the 3rd note and the 7th note, and then you would automatically have that scale, okay? It's pretty great. All right, moving on over here. Let's put this in right now. So let's do all the minor chords. So again, I'm going to use C as the example. We could have C minor, which again is the same as C M-I-N. Okay. We could have C minor 7, C minor 9, C minor 11, C minor 13, C minor 6, C minor 6, 9. And that's pretty much it for those, I think. Yep. So you get the idea for all these. We'll go over these boxes in class, so if you don't get those now, don't worry about it, but make sure you do everything else. The last thing that you need to do here, guys, is copy this down because this is not listed on that first page. So go ahead and pause the video and copy down everything in the boxes for number 7 and number 8 right now, okay? And for this box right here, guys, you're going to use everything that you wrote in this box there, but you're also going to have this C minor major 13 there. It's only in this box and not in this one, so don't put it there, all right? So pause the video, go do that. Okay, moving on. Now let's figure out how to do the actual worksheet, okay? So basically what we're going to do here is pick a scale, figure out what key it's in, and then figure out what quality it is, and then it's good to go. So let's do this number 2 right here, okay? So I keep getting spit on my screen. I'm trying to wipe it off, and it keeps writing on the thing. Okay, first thing I'm going to do with number 2 is look at the first note, because that's my key. My key is going to be an E flat, so it's going to be an E flat blank, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of figure out my key signature for E major, or E flat major, sorry, and then I'm just going to write those flats above my scale. So if I look at the circle of fifths, key of E flat has 3 flats. It's B flat, E flat, and A flat. So I'm just going to kind of go through really quick and just write those above the staff to kind of give them as clear giveaways. So I have a B flat, put that there. I have an E flat, there and there, and I have an A flat, okay? Now I'm going to go through and see if anything has changed, okay? This is my first degree. Nothing's wrong. 2, 3 is the same. 4, I'm supposed to have a flat, and sure enough, I do, so that's good. 5, I'm supposed to have a flat, and there's 1 written, so that's good as well. No change with 6 or 7 or 8. So this is an E flat scale with absolutely no changes to the formula, so this would be an E flat major scale. You don't actually have to write scale, you can just write E flat major. Let's do another one. Let's do number 5 here. Okay, step number 1. Look at the key. The key is A flat, so I'm going to write that down right there. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is spell out my key signature for A flat major. Okay, which is 4 flats. It's B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. So I'm just going to go ahead and put those in. So B flats go right here, E flats go right there, A flats go right here, and D flats go right here. Now I'm going to go through and see if everything is good. It's supposed to be flat, good to go. Supposed to be flat, keep the same. Flat, flat, good. Okay, something is wrong here. We have a flat that's written, but it's not supposed to be flat according to the key signature. So we've lowered this 7th to make it there. So now we put in that. And I'm going to circle this to show me that it stands out. Okay? So I have a scale with a flat 7. If I go back and look for which answer has only a flat 7 in it, we can see that is actually our dominant 7th scale, which again, we don't call it that. We call it Mixolydian. So we're going to at least erase that and go write that in here. We have an A flat Mixolydian scale here. All right. Let's do another one. Let's do this one here, number 7, and then we'll do a trickier one. Okay. First thing we're going to do is the key. We have a B flat. I'm going to write it down. My B flat key signature is going to be B flat and E flat. So I'm going to go put those in. I have a B flat here and there, and then I have an E flat. Okay. So let's get rid of this annoying thing really quick. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So remember, nothing should be sharp or flat unless I wrote that above the staff. If I didn't write it above the staff and it's on the actual staff showing that it's sharp or flat, then we've changed something, okay? So I wrote a flat there. It's good to go. No change, no change. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. There is a change here. This is supposed to be D natural, not D flat, so we've lowered the 3rd, okay? That's good, that's good, that's good. Oh, this one's different as well. We're supposed to lower the 7th, okay? So this scale is a B flat scale with a lowered 3rd and 7th. We already know earlier that's a Dorian scale, so this is B flat Dorian, okay? Let's do a difficult one, or one that's a little bit weird. Let's do number 15 here, okay? So 15 is a weird one, because right off the bat I can tell that there's something weird about the scale because it doesn't have the same amount of notes as all the other scales. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whereas I usually have 8, right? So something is weird about this one. We didn't get to this in the paper yet, But basically, one of our scales in here actually only has 7 notes, and it's going to be one of these 3 here. Now, honestly, guys, that's kind of a dead giveaway, but of which one it is, but I don't want to know what the giveaway is. I want to figure out the right way, just in case we don't get so lucky in the future. So for number 15, I'm going to write down my key, which is G. Okay, I'm going to put in my G major key signature, which is honestly just an F sharp. So that goes right here. And now I'm going to start doing my numbers. So this is where things get a little bit weird, because we usually just take this for granted, okay? In the key of G, what we should have is we should have G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And each of these will have its own number, okay? But the number, guys, has to go to that letter. As in, like, A will always be a 2 of some kind. B will always be a 3 of some kind, blah, 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 in the key of G. So I have a G here, but my next note is not actually 2. It's 3 because the note we have there is a B of some kind. So I have 3. C is 4. C sharp is also 4. So that's really weird, right? When have we ever had a scale that had 2 of the same number or 2 of the same pitch back to back? Something really weird is happening here. D is 5. E would be 6, but there is no E, so we're just going to 7. And then we have our 8 note, okay? So now I'm going to go through and figure this out and figure out what's going on here, okay? G is supposed to be good to go, so that's fine. This B should not be flat. It should be natural, so I've lowered the 3rd. The C for the 4th is good, but the C sharp is not, so I've done a sharp 4, okay? Now, sharp 4, guys, can also, I'll write this up here, sharp 4 can also be the same thing as flat 5, okay? They can be the same thing. So if you're looking for a scale and you see one that has this first part, but it doesn't have a sharp 4, it has a flat 5 instead, then technically that is still correct, okay? 5th is good. Our 7th is supposed to be sharp, but it's not. They've lowered it from a sharp to a natural, so this is also flat, okay? So now, I'm going to be looking for a scale, guys, that has a flat 3rd, a flatted 7th, but does not have a 2nd or a 6th, and either has a sharp 4 or flat 5. So the reason it's good that there's so many rules is because it makes it so specific. So if I look at this first scale right here, guys, this is our winner. This is our blues scale. It's got 1, but no 2. It's got a flatted 3rd and a sharp 4. It's got no 6, and it's got a flatted 7. That's exactly what we need. So this is, in fact, the G blues scale. Or you can just write G blues. It doesn't matter. Okay? So that one took a little bit longer of a time to explain because we hadn't done the formula for it yet, but it is still the same thing as everything else. Let's look at one more tricky one on this paper. And that's this one here, this extremely long one, number 6. It's literally every note. C, C sharp, D, E flat. It's all 12 notes. Whenever you use all of them, it's a chromatic scale, and we just call it by the key that starts on first, which in this case is C. C chromatic. All right, let's go to our last page where we start to do the opposite, where we have to start spelling these out. And let's just do the first one, and let's do maybe that one. Okay, we'll do the first one and the last one, all right? So, same thing as usual, guys, just kind of the process is a little bit backwards. So, they want us to spell a melodic minor scale, okay? We are in the key of F, okay? So, I'm going to write that over here. I don't really need to, but I'm going to fill in all of my notes up to the next F. Now, another thing we need to check too, guys, because this is kind of like an autopilot thing that people just do, is you want to make sure that your note even has, or your scale even has this many notes in it, because some of them don't. Right? Like our pentatonics or our blues scale down here doesn't have all 8 notes. So make sure you're checking that when you're checking the title, okay? So I need a melodic minor scale. Now, if this was already done here, which it is, I could just copy this in. So my melodic minor scale is actually just a major scale with a lowered 3rd. And it says it right there as well, okay? So all I'm going to do for this, guys, is write in the key signature for F major, and then flat the 3rd, and then the scale is going to be done. So the key of F has 1 flat. It's a B flat. So I'm going to put that right here. Okay. I'm going to lower the 3rd note. 1, 2, 3. So that's this one here. I'm lowering it. My scale is done. It's good to go. It's just F to F with an A flat and a B flat. All right. Let's do another one. Let's do this. Oh my God. Just swipe down the page, please. All right. Minor pentatonic in the key of G sharp. This is a nasty key. This is going to be awful, okay? First thing I want to do is I want to know what my formula is for a minor pentatonic, okay? So minor pentatonic is going to be 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and 8. So 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 8. I'm going to go write that down on my paper so I don't have to look for it. Okay, I'm dealing with 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and 8. Okay, so I got my G note. I don't have a 2, so I'm not going to put that in, but I will put in a B of some kind because that's going to be my third. I'm going to have a fourth. I should have just written the formula over here. My fourth is going to be a C. My fifth is going to be a D. My seventh, I don't know if it's flat or sharp yet, but I know it's going to be an F of some kind. And then my eighth is going to be a G. All right. So here's where it gets tricky, guys. In the key of G sharp, we don't actually have a key signature for G sharp. So here's how you do things like that. This is actually really annoying. You have to kind of spell out a G major scale, like instead of G sharp, and then you figure out what that is and you raise everything. Okay. So the key of G only has one sharp, and that's F sharp. Okay, so basically to make this a G sharp scale, guys, what I would do is I would sharp everything, but then the F would turn into a double sharp because it's already supposed to be sharp. So basically all of this stuff is going to get sharped and the F's going to get double sharp. So I'm going to go through and do that right now. Okay, now I just go through and put in my my formula, which will be super easy. Okay, so 1 stays the same, 3 stays the same, 4 stays the same. Oh, wait, sorry, this is flat 3. 3 is flatted, so if I have a B sharp, that's going to get lowered into a natural, so I'm just going to erase it, but you can put a natural if you want. Okay, 4 is good, 5 is good. My 7th is supposed to be lowered, so if I have a double sharp, guys, that double sharp being lowered just turns into one single sharp, okay? This is kind of a really bad key. I don't really even know why I picked this. I think I just did it just to make sure that people weren't going on autopilot. It really should just be written as an A flat minor pentatonic. But anyway, guys, that's how it works. So first thing I would do with this whole worksheet is go through and do this whole page, okay? Don't worry about this box on the end if you can't figure out the answers. We're going to go over it in class. But do everything else in these first two boxes. And then when you're doing this page, you know, kind of figure out what your formula is and see what's going on with it. You know, there's only one scale that's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8. You know, same thing with, you know, maybe the next page, like something over here. There's only one scale, like this scale right here is going to be flat 7, flat 3. So whatever your chord is, that's flat 7, flat 3, that's going to be your answer. And make sure your first note is the root. And then your last page is really, really, really easy. Okay? So, all right, guys, good luck with this, and I'll see you in class soon.